This lesson will review paraphrasing poetry. Paraphrasing is when you put the language of an original text in your own words. Paraphrasing poetry can help you understand the deeper meanings of a poem. To practice paraphrasing poetry, we will use a poem that you are all very familiar with. Nothing Gold Can Stay by Robert Frost. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf. So Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down to day. Nothing gold can stay. Now we need to put the lines of this poem into our own words. The first step in paraphrasing is looking up words that you're not familiar with. Another thing you will want to make note of is any word that has more than one definition. It's possible that the poet is taking advantage of the multiple meanings of a word to make multiple meanings of their poem. Here you can see some words highlighted that we may have to look up. The first word I highlighted is green. I know everyone knows that green is the color of growing foliage. But did you know that it also could mean not fully developed or immature in age? These second definitions might add some additional meaning to our poem. The second word highlighted is hue. A hue is a gradation of color. It's not exactly the color, but the tint of a color. Hue could also mean form or appearance. The word subside is a verb, and it means to sink to a lower level, to become quiet, less active, or less violent. Lastly, Eden is an allusion to the place where Adam and Eve lived before the fall, and it can also just mean a paradise or place of bliss. The next step in paraphrasing our poem is to restate the passage using our own everyday words. The best way to do this is to break it into sentences, not just lines. Our first sentence is, nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Alright, looking at these first two lines, I think the poet is playing around with words. We have a lot of references to color, green, gold, and hue. But when I've put this first sentence into my own words, I think it doesn't really have anything to do with color at all. I think that Robert Frost is not necessarily trying to say that nature's first color, but we're talking about green in the sense of immature or a beginning or a beginner. So nature's first beginner is gold. And not gold the color, but gold like the metal that's precious, rare, and valuable. This time, this beginning time of nature, is her most difficult time to slow down, hold on to, or remember. When they say it's her hardest hue to hold, I don't think it means that nature cannot hold that color. It means that as time passes, the colors change, and it's a difficult time to hold on to. In the next sentence, her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour, I think the poet, again referring to nature, is thinking about this first appearance and saying that when nature's first appearing to the world, it's not like a leaf. A leaf might be considered boring. Many leaves look exactly the same unless you look at them up close. Instead, it looks like a flower. It's beautiful, it's distinct, and complex. It has all the different parts of a flower as opposed to being just a simple leaf. However, this rare beauty only lasts a short while. Again, we have a reference to time. The next sentence, then leaf subsides to leaf, suggests that this flower can no longer hold its beauty, and it becomes lesser or subsides by turning into a leaf. It ends up looking like all of the other leaves on the tree or on the bush. The next lines, so Eden sank to grief, so dawn goes down to day, means that Eden, either the garden from the Bible or any paradise, becomes saddened by the fact that the flowers can no longer hold on to their uniqueness and beauty. The dawn, or the earliest part, and sometimes the most precious part of day, the beginning of the day, is transitioning into daytime. This is a similar metaphor to what we saw with a flower turning into a leaf. Now we see dawn turning into day. The last line, nothing gold can stay, in my own words means that nothing that is precious, rare, beautiful, or valuable can stay. It naturally turns into something else. Because of time, because of age, those things that are so precious and valuable to us at some point have to end. The last step in paraphrasing poetry is to reread the passage and make sure that your version makes sense. So here is our version. Nature's first color or beginning or the beginner of nature is gold, meaning that it's precious, rare, and valuable. It is her most difficult time to slow down, hold on to, or remember. Nature's first appearance is not like a leaf, the same as others, boring, but instead it's like a flower, beautiful, distinct, and complex. However, this rare beauty only lasts a short while. The flower can no longer hold its beauty, and it becomes lesser by turning into a leaf. Eden, or paradise, becomes saddened by the fact that the flowers can no longer hold on to their uniqueness and beauty. The dawn, or what we would consider the earliest and maybe most precious part and beginning of day, eventually transitions into daytime. The meaning of the poem suggests that nothing that is precious, rare, beautiful, or valuable can stay. It naturally turns into something else.